see me. We have gone live. I should be live in front of you right now. I hope. We do this every time, don't we? I hope I'm live. You do your part, and then you never know for sure until people start popping up, and then you know you are actually live. Wait, are you there? I think someone's there. I'm getting some feedback and chat. So we are live, apparently. Thank you. Thank you to the YouTube gods, the gods of the universe almost, aren't they? Google and YouTube and all those big guys. They're taking over the world. Something to be concerned about, but that's a topic for another day. It's a bigger pay scale than mine. I don't have any answers. So here we are. We're live. I'm in Oregon. You can see I'm in the, oops, don't hold on to that. You can see I am here in the beautiful forest, national forest in Oregon. I'm on I like to get sun, and so the van, I'll walk around by the van. So that I get sun, I'm parked in the field, kind of. But I am surrounded by trees, and I could be in the middle of the trees if I wanted to be. I just don't particularly want to be. And let me find Cody. There's Cody. So, I know what I'll do. I'll turn this around. Where do I tap to turn this around? Connecticut. Hi from Illinois. Okay. So I turned this around, and let's go see Cody. I know you all want to see Cody. I like seeing Cody. Cody, come on. Come on. Where's he at? There's that Code dog. He's such a good one. So Code's out running around in this field. Oh, let's not do that. Okay, there we go. So let me turn around and show you the van. It's a hot day. So the van's all opened up. That's aluminette I've got draped over the back. I'm a big fan of aluminette. It's aluminum weave, kinda, and it reflects. That's the point. And it's got a, here you can see, I think you can see that. You can see the red through there. So I get a complete airflow through there. I'm doing a test on it. I'm comparing it to regular shade cloth, and I just got it clamped on with these. Can you see those? Yeah, just regular old spring clamps. Clamp it on. It's super simple. And across my door, I just put a sheet. I hang a sheet over my door, and use spring clamps. And I like the tan color. It's a cheap sheet I bought at a thrift store, and so the door can be open. I can get full airflow. It's in the shade right now, but in the morning it's in the sun, and I can get full airflow, and the sun doesn't shine into the van. That's what you got to avoid, is sun shining into the van. Okay, let's turn this thing around. What's the temperature there? It's actually been really good. Here it is July, and I bet it'll get up to maybe 90. It'll probably hit 90 today, and maybe 95. I think that's about where we are. So pretty good, pretty good. No, I won't hit 95. I'm not even sure it'll hit 90. It's not all that unpleasant. I'm usually running out of the sun as soon as I can because the sun gets so hot here. But no, I'm doing pretty good so far. And let me adjust this. There we go. It's a little better. And let me adjust this. Wrong way. I always do it the wrong way first. There we go. That's better. So all is good here. Today is question and answers. We're going to do question and answers, as far as I know, every Wednesday from now on. Today's topic is stealth parking. You all know me for doing boondocking. That's what I do, and that's all I've done for the last 11 years. The last 11 years, I avoid cities like the plague and have not been in them. But for the first 6 years that I lived in the van, it was in a big city, Anchorage, Alaska, which is a big city. It's like 350,000. So I spent all that time stealth camping. So I know stealth camping really, really well. And then I haven't done a lot on stealth camping because I don't do it anymore. It's just not part of my life, but I know it. And so today we're going to talk about questions and answers on stealth parking. Next Wednesday will be questions and answers on boondocking, and that I know better because that's what I don't know it better. I know it as well. I've been doing it for the last 11 years, and it's a big part of my life. So basically today, between this Wednesday and the next Wednesday, we're going to talk about where can you go camp and where can you go camp for free. And that's the whole idea behind cheap RV living, is to spend next to no money. Okay, so we have questions coming up, and right now I'm going to do announcements. The first announcement is I'm going to speak at the Tiny Fest Northwest. That's in Salem, Oregon. The dates are August 17th and 18th, and it's at a big fairground type thing. And the people there will be, it'll be tiny houses there, and a lot of tiny houses. There will also be quite a few vans and school buses. They're always well represented. And but mainly it'll be tiny houses, and so you can come and take tours of the tiny houses. The lineup of speakers is very impressive. I'm not sure why they have me there, but I'm going to talk about, because I'm not a tiny house guy. I don't live in a tiny house. Well, my van is what is it? It's 60 square feet. So I guess that's a tiny house. Yeah, it's a tiny house on wheels, isn't it? But it's not a traditional tiny house like most people think of, and so I didn't really feel qualified to address them. But what I've given an enormous amount of thought to is the science and the spirituality and the psychology of living tiny, whether the tiny is in a van, or a Prius, a van, or a traditional tiny house that most people are building. I've given a lot of thought to the science and the psychology, the why. Why do we do it? Why do we have a compulsion to do it? Why do we have itchy feet? I think that's an important question. And when people start attacking you, and they will, as soon as you tell someone you're going to live in a car or a van, and they're going to start attacking you. No, that's a bad idea. It's on and on and on. They have all the long list of reasons why it's a terrible idea. And you need to have an answer, and you need to have thought it through and not just go wildly and blindly. I think it's important that we have reasons in life for the things we do. We apply the heart. We always have to apply the heart, but we also have to apply the mind. And this is why I do things, and I have to be able to do both. I have to tell you the mind, satisfy my mind. This is why, and my heart. This is a proper urge that I'm following, and it's a good thing. And so that's what we're going to talk about, mainly science, anthropology and psychology and Carl Jung and on, lots of stuff. Okay, that is August 17th and 18th, and the website is Tiny, T-I-N-Y, Fest, F-E-S-T, Northwest. Spell them all out, tinyfestnorthwest.com. Okay, and that will take you there, and there's a schedule. I'm not up on the schedule yet. I've been in conversation with the organizer for quite some time, and we just nailed it down, and she said she hadn't gotten it posted, my schedule, but it will be. And so go there, and don't be worried if it isn't posted yet. It will be. And we also want to give you an update on a van build. We built this minivan. I bought a minivan. Homes on Wheels Alliance bought this minivan, and then a group of us, and I did blog posts on this, and built this minivan. It's entirely ready to give away. We've got a web page up, and where we're taking applications. We've gotten a bunch of applications. Now we're going through the applications, coming to the process of finding the person most worthy of the van and most likely to make a success of it. We think we're not doing anyone a service if we give them a van and they're set up for failure because they don't have enough money, they don't have enough knowledge. And so we're doing that kind of vetting. And once we've got that vetting done, we will hand it out. We're shooting to have it handed out to distribute it, and I'll do a video of course. The person we give it to, we're shooting for in July, which is only a week left, so it's got to be very soon. And if not, it'll be the first week of August. We're shooting for that. Also, I think I've been authorized to go ahead and talk about a little bit about the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous. Well, I can say this. I'm getting a lot of questions. When is it, the date and the time and the location? And I'm sorry to say we don't know yet. We are dealing with the BLM, and when it's going to be on BLM land. The only way we can do it for free or affordably is to do it on public land, and where else are you going to put 10,000 people? I don't know. It would have to be a huge a state park or a state or a fairground like thing to hold 10,000 campers. And so we have to find a place. We have found the place. We've applied for the permit. We're just waiting on it all to get nailed down, and then we'll have times and dates. But we can't do it. I can't make any announcements whatsoever until I've got an official final word from the BLM. We're set to go. I think we're really close, and it will be soon, but I can't do it until that moment, because with the BLM, anything can change in a heartbeat. Look at what's going on with Burning Man. You know, they've been there, they have every 10 years, they have to renew their contract. And so their new one is up next year, and they're going back and forth. And so you just never know with the BLM. And so I can't give you out. Not only do I not want to, I cannot give you information until I know as an absolute that it's true and it's accurate and it's what's going to happen. It will happen. That's the one thing I can tell you. There will be a rubber tramp rendezvous. If we run into too many snags, we'll do workarounds. We'll have space limits, and we'll move them around, and I don't know what we'll do, but as of right now, everything looks good. We've got in an application we think that will be accepted. We think we have a location that can become a permanent location, and almost all of the issues the BLM has had will be solved. So, and we can continue to either have it either free or extremely cheap, one way or the other. Talking about extremely cheap, one of the things we're wanting to do is a van raffle at the RTR. And so we are looking at buying a van and raffling it at the RTR. So we aren't, again, we're well into it. We're almost ready to make the announcement. Some folks have given me the go-ahead, and I'm not 100% sure. Here's the way it looks right now. We're going to buy a new Chevy Express van. We is HOWA, Homes on Wheels Alliance, and we're going to raffle it. And I don't think we have nailed down the exact cost of the tickets. We want to make them cheap. A lot of you don't have much money to spend on a raffle, but you want to buy a ticket. And so our goal is to make them very cheap. I think right now, we're looking at $5 a ticket. Just so everyone, we don't want to exclude people who don't have money, nor do we want you to go out and spend all your money on tickets. But at any rate, we're working on it. None of it's nailed down. I'm just giving you an idea of what we definitely are looking at. We've approached Fiberine. Fiberine is the company that makes high tops and installs them. They make the very best. I am a huge fan of Fiberine. I'm just an enormous fan. If you're going to buy a high top, go to Fiberine and get it. I've known a bunch of people that did, and every single one of them was delighted with Fiberine, with their service, and with their high top. It's expensive. It's a lot of money, but it's still the way to go. I saved $1,000 and went to someone else, and it's the biggest piece of crap, and it's going to end up in the landfill. I'm not kidding. That company has since gone out of business, rightfully so. They should. And there's no question in my mind that at some point, the top that's on my van will end up in the landfill. It's just crap. That's just all there is to it. So go with Fiberine. Go with Fiberine. Fiberine, I believe it's fiberine.com. If you do a Google search on Fiberine, California, it'll come up. They have told us they will install a 24-inch high top on our Chevy Express. We weren't going to give away a low top van. Our initial thought had been just to buy a Ford Transit, with a high top Ford Transit. However, I am personally a fan of the Chevy Express, of the motors and everything in the Chevy Express. They're cheaper. I mean, it's going to be $10,000 cheaper than Transit, but I wouldn't give away a low top van. I just wouldn't give away a low top van. So Fiberine has agreed to put a top on it. And so we are going to do a raffle. We are pretty confident for free. They're going to donate the top and their time and support Fiberine, please, whatever. Just the fact that they've agreed to do that, please go out and support Fiberine. And so we are planning a raffle for the RTR. We don't have any of the details yet. We don't have a page set up. We don't have the tickets in place. We're going to go through a website. There's a website that does this, and it takes all the hassle. It's a huge hassle to do and to make sure about the legality and the morality and the transparency. We're going through a website, and we'll set all that up so that we don't, it's all done through them. And you don't have any questions, or we're just going to rip you off, although hopefully by now that's settled in your mind. There's a few of you it's settled that I'm going to rip everyone off, and and so on and so on, but I won't go into that. And so we're hoping that happens, and we're hoping we have a final announcement on that very soon. Okay, I think we're ready to do announcements, and now what I'm going to do, and you're going to bring over questions, right, Brad? Now I'm going to read a letter. I like to read a letter every week. I get enough questions that I like and comments from readers that I like to read some of them, and it lets you know what we're doing and working on. Okay, great. And this is the letter. I'm going to read it to you. I only receive 840. Oops, that's page 2. Okay, here we go. Hello, my name is, and this person gives their name. I'll try really hard not to give you any information about this person. I am 53 years old. I recently started watching your videos. I have always been an avid camper until my health got to the point I can't anymore due to those issues. I lost my left leg above the knee, and I am not able to wear a prosthetic. I'm in a power wheelchair permanently. So pretty bad, problems here so far. My spouse died 15 years ago, so it's just me. So this woman is so much for her anonymity. But you still don't know who it is. My spouse died 15 years ago, so it's just me, and I would love to be able to join your community. I only receive $846 a month from Social Security Disability, and I hate every day. Can you imagine that? And I can easily imagine how you've lost your spouse, you've lost a leg, you've got limited mobility, you're barely surviving on $846 a month. That is not a high quality, the highest possible quality life. Okay, so let me go back up here. Nope, I lost my place here. I would love to be able to join your community. I think it could save my life as it has so many others in your community. And I get those letters just every week that they write me and tell me finding this way of life has saved their life. Do you think it would be physically possible for me, meaning she has lost a leg? Are there any others in wheelchairs that manage? Thank you for all you do. If nothing else, I will continue to watch your videos and dream. So this lady, again, I'm just terrible at this, aren't I? So this person is in a really bad spot in life. Lost her husband, lost her leg, doesn't have enough money to enjoy life. She's just surviving. I don't know where she's living, but she's, if she only has $846 a month, it's not a high class place. It's not a mansion. She's barely surviving. No extra money at the end of the month, and her life. She said she hates her every day. And so she's found hope. And I've said so many times, and I really believe this, I am in the hope providing business. This is a way out. And cheap RV living isn't living in a car or a van or an RV or in a tent. It's not easy and a bundle of joy, but it's going to be an enormous improvement for this lady and for thousands and thousands of others. And so I'm just very grateful that I'm here. And I have a video. I wrote back and said, yes, you can do this. And I wrote back and I have that video of Bob, who has also lost a leg and lives and built a cargo trailer out and has a power wheelchair and does really, really, really well in his cargo trailer. And so I wrote her back and sent her the link to the video and said, yes, you can do this. Cargo trailers are cheap. You can find someone to help you build it out. You can build it for your mobility and moving the wheelchair around in mind. And you can do this. And with the caravans and with the tribe and the community, you won't be alone. There will be people to help you, to support you, to care about you, to just a shoulder to cry on sometimes. Sometimes that's all we need. We can get through life. It's just those bad down moments when you got to have someone to hold your hand or to give you a hug. We all have those days. And the knowledge that there is hope, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a train coming your way, that there really is hope and a better day ahead. if that's all I do and accomplish for people, unfortunately it's not. I do a lot more than that. But if that's all I did, that would be enough. And I'm very, very grateful to her for writing, and to each of you for all your support, and for watching the videos and subscribing, and passing on links to the videos in your social media. That's how she found me, was because of all of you. The audience has given me enough traction that YouTube sends it out. And so someone Google searches on what can she do in a wheelchair, they come to me, and that's all because of what you do. So I'm grateful, and I hope you'll continue to support me and the channel, and that together we're going to change lives. We are changing lives. We have changed, you and I together. I can't do it alone. You and I have changed thousands and thousands of lives, and I am tremendously grateful to each and every one of you for that. Okay, thank you. And so now let's get started. I'm going to get out of the sun because I'm going to burn up here. I'm going to walk over into some shade, and then we'll start answering questions. What time is it? How much time did I spend doing that? 20 after. 20 after. 5 after. Okay. So I'll get in the shade, try to avoid all these wildflowers. We're in a patch of beautiful wildflowers. I hate it when people disturb nature, tear it up. Okay. Here we go. I'll get a drink, and I'll start answering questions. All right. Let's drop that. Get that down about right. I guess that's about right. And then I'll get it away from me so you're not looking up my nose. Imagine I haven't trimmed my nose hairs recently, and you don't want to look up my nose. Okay. So next we'll start answering questions on stealth parking. Okay, announcements, card number 1. David Abbott asks, what is a good strategy for rotating parking areas to avoid being noticed? I generally am going to recommend that you move, you have at least 7. You have 7 planned out stealth parking areas. Like that's, okay, settle down there. Okay, I suggest you have 7 and you change every day. So that way you are never more in one place without being a week apart. And that's about the best you're going to do, because then you'll, people, if you're there once a week, 4 times a month, that just isn't enough for people to really pay attention and notice you. So my recommendation is that you go around town, you find 7 good spots, and you rotate in between them. You should always, what I think of as getting there at the last, you have a day camp and a night camp. So if you're not working, or if you're working, of course you're at work most of your day, and if you're on your days off, you have a day camp and a night camp. So you go to your day camp during the day, and then at the last second, if you're going to go to bed, whatever your schedule is, it's different for all of us. I worked at nights once for a very long time and lived in my van, and that worked really well. I was in Anchorage, Alaska, so it wasn't hot. I can't imagine doing it in a hot place. That would be really awful. And so I slept during the day, and it was really, really easy to stealth park when you park during the day, when you sleep during the day. So you have a day camp where you go during the day. It can be anywhere, lots of places. It can be at the library, it can be a bookstore, it can be in the Walmart parking lot, it can be almost anywhere. And then you have a night camp, and you never mix them up. You spend your days at your day camp, and you spend your nights at your night camp, and you get to your night at the very last possible second. So you get there at, let me get around here, maybe we can get some less blown out. So you get to your night camp at the last possible second, and, nope, too much. So if you're going to if you plan to get to sleep at 11, you get to your night camp at 5 till 11. You get there, your bed's ready to go, you never turn the light on, you get out of the front seat, you get in the back, and you go to sleep. If you're going to read or listen to some music first, very low, have it very, very low, and use a red light headlamp to see so that you're not making any noise, no one hears you. Use your headphones, no one hears you, no one sees you, no one knows you're there. You just, you're invisible. That's always the goal. Okay. 2, Tom, what is the best way to black out windows so it does not look like Reflectix? Well, there's a number of good ways. You can buy black poster board, and just cut it to the black poster board and slide that in. I have known people who bought black spray paint and spray painted them, and then of course they're just solid black. You can spray paint one side of the Reflectix. So if you have two windows that are mirror images, and one side can be Reflectix and the other side can be, one way to do it is to buy felt, black felt, and spray glue and spray glue black felt onto one side. So if at night you can put the black felt on this wall over here and no one will see in at all because it's black felt. And then during the day you reverse them, it goes over here and people will see the Reflectix, but it's during the day and no one really cares. If it just seems reasonable that you have Reflectix up during the day. And so that is a really good solution. If you have the two mirror images and, or you have a same thing, usually with the two back windows on your van, you can mirror those. They're identical, just mirrored. And so you can have two of them. One has black felt and one has Reflectix, and then you can reverse the sides. Each has either black on one side, Reflectix on the other. And that's a good way to do it. You can just put up curtains, just a dark curtain. I've known people who cut out a piece of insulation. They had too many windows, so they cut out a piece of insulation and they put glued black felt on one side or spray painted it on one side, and then push that in to, and then they really got insulation. The heat didn't come through because it was insulated, literally. And so that's a really good way to do it. All these there's lots of choices. Cardboard. You can just get a cardboard box and cut it out and spray on glue and use black felt, or get a $1 Walmart can of spray paint and spray paint it black and stick it on there. So real easy. That's an easy one to solve. Sean, which is better, private lots or street? It depends on your vehicle. If you have a commercial vehicle, then you wouldn't go on streets. Commercial vehicles look out of place. So if you have a step van, you have a box van, even a cargo van to some degree looks a little out of place. Just a white old cargo van looks a little out of place on streets, but that's the great thing about a cargo van. It can really go in either. You can be on residential, let's call it that. You're always on a street, but let's call it residential versus commercial. That's your question. Private lots or street? Oh, maybe not. Maybe that's not your question. Maybe you mean private lot like Walmart. To be honest with you, I'm not sure exactly which one you mean. But if it's private versus commercial, then a commercial vehicle looks great. Go into the light industrial part of town with a step van or a box van or even a cargo van. No one will notice. Go into a passenger van on a city street in front of a big, and one of the very best choices is in front of a big apartment complex. If you have a multi-story and multi-building apartment complex, no one knows who's parked where. No one knows who has a friend, who lives there, who doesn't. Those are almost ideal. They're sprawling, messed up parking, and you can be almost anywhere. So that's a really, really good choice. And now if you mean private lots, I would assume that you mean private lots. Well, private lots, maybe Walmart. You think of Walmart as a private lot. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I tell you, the private lots, assuming that you're talking about, I'm having a hard time. Let's see, let's get behind it. That might do it better. If you mean a private lot, one of the great places to stealth park is, and I've found these actually surprising number of places, is, I wish I could make that darker, lighter. Okay, that's a little better, although you're looking up my nose again. One of the places I love is to find a Denny's next to a motel, or I've seen that pretty often, and I've stayed at that pretty often. So that's a private lot. Denny's owns it, the motel owns it, and yet you could be at either one, and they're both 24 hours. So that's a really good one. Another private lot that I like is 24-hour grocery stores. Again, it's a private. The grocery store owns or leases it, and a private individual somewhere owns it. And so I like those because there are people coming and going all the time. You could be an employee inside working. 24-hour grocery stores always have employees in working. You can be an employee, you could be a shopper, and as long as you're moving them around every 7 days, a cop stops, you're just another vehicle parked in front of a business. So That's about the way it works. Linda, how about installing your vents on the floor to be stealth? Would you recommend it? I've never done it. The big issue will be, and I have known people that did it, and I think they all liked it. Great, thank you. And I have known people that did it, and I think they liked it. The big issue is mice and critters getting in, particularly rodents, but also bugs, creepy crawlies crawling through, mosquitoes getting in that way. Well, and it's because it's on the floor, it's not like a vent in the roof where you've got mosquito netting on it. I just do not like, how can I solve this? I don't like being that dark. I don't like hiding my face, although my face should be hidden, no question about that. But, it's easy to have mosquito netting if it's on the roof, but it's a lot harder if it's on the floor because you're going to be walking on it. And so there's some issues. Also, another big issue is carbon monoxide coming in, exhaust fumes coming in. If you ever have a leak, it's going right up in your van as you're driving. Now, there are big issues with it. I've never done it because of those issues. You can try, give it a try, and let me know what you think. That would be about the best I can tell you. Know the ins and outs, the positive and negatives, what'll work and what won't, and then make your own decision and give it a try and let me know. That's how this thing works. Okay, I'm not doing anything, so I'll just try to ignore it. I'll just be dark. RV travel crew, is parking on side streets in industrial areas legal? Sure, yeah, it's legal. It's a city street. You can always park on a city street, as far as I know. How long can I park an RV? Now, RV, yeah, it's still not illegal. You might get chased away because it might be, in other words, it's not illegal. Let me back up a bit here. It's not illegal because you're parked on a city street in an industrial area. It might be illegal everywhere in your town. Now, if it's illegal everywhere in your town, it's illegal there too. And then you got to worry about a cop chasing you away because you're doing something illegal. So if it's illegal everywhere, it'll be illegal there. If it's not illegal everywhere, it won't be illegal there either. It's not suddenly illegal in that part of town. In fact, usually the cops patrol it less. They kind of figure that all the buildings in there have their own security patrols and their own security, and so they watch it a little less. There's less there to steal. It's just warehouses and, businesses that really aren't a whole lot to steal. And so you're less likely, I believe, in a light industrial area to run into security, police at least. Can you park there? And yes, in fact, I know a number of RVers, that's where they go because that's where it's biggest. There's the lowest amount of traffic. Now, again, we're talking about light industrial areas. Every town has one. There'll be warehouses there. That's where, there'll be a bottler there. It's a light industrial. It's zoned for light industrial. So the traffic's a lot less. It's actually, when people say, should I choose a step van or a box van? I say yes because of the light industrial areas. You fit in well there. Having a box van or a step van in a light industrial area is perfectly normal and natural. You're making a delivery, you're waiting to pick up a delivery the next day. The boss comes around and sees it there and he doesn't think anything of it. You're someone who needs to do business in that area. And they tend to sprawl out a little bit. There's usually not enough parking, so people park on the streets. It's a lot normal. Now, if you're in an RV there, it's obvious what you're doing. No one's gets there and think, what's this RV's here to do business? They think you're there to sleep. But if you follow my advice of get there at the last second and leave at the very first moment, as soon as you were awake, you pee if you just have to, but then you get in there and you turn the key and you drive away. You are not there an extra second that you don't have to be. And if you follow that basic rule, day camps, night camps, you're never at a night camp more than 1 second more than you absolutely have to be. You do absolutely nothing to draw attention to yourself, and then you can probably get away with it. And in fact, these cities where they make it really chase van dwellers around, RVers, they will usually, eventually they'll get tired of the fight and they will let them stay in light industrial areas because no one complains. The owner doesn't care. If he gets there and there's an RV parked out front and you leave right away and you never do anything wrong, he's not going to care. It's not worth hassling himself about it. So there's that. Using a car to get to work. Oh, I didn't read the whole sentence. I have heard of people parking an RV there and using a car to get to work. No, 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 no. Then the boss gets there and you're there all day. Then the boss gets a little tired of that. He's got customers coming. He needs someplace where his customers to park. He's got employees. Where are his employees parking? No, 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 no. No, you don't park there all day and drive your car to work. You don't do that anywhere. I'm sorry. You do that only with extreme caution. And I just can't, that's not something I'm going to get behind at all. Okay, car 12 commandments. And I think I'm out of questions. Oh, question card number 2. Okay, let me get some of these cards out of my life. Okay, that one's done. And that's done. And that's done. And that's done. Okay, these go down here. If they blow away, I'll pick them up. Okay, card number 2. Yvonne asks, do you recommend parking outside of a 24-hour business like IHOP or grocery store? Should I go in to purchase something first? Yes and yes. I worked in a 24-hour grocery store. I worked in a grocery business all my life. I mean, literally all my life, over 30 years. I retired. That's my pension. I was a union clerk in a grocery store. And so about half the time, probably 2/3 of the time, 20 years, I worked during the days, and probably about a third, maybe 10 years, I worked at night. So man, I went to a grocery store every night. And when I went into a grocery store, I went there, 5 days a week. I didn't know who was out there. And if you were parking out there, I didn't think anything of it. I just thought you were a customer or you were another employee that I didn't know. There were a bunch of departments in the store, and I didn't know all the people in there that worked. There were produce, there was the bakery. Bakers come in real early. Produce comes in early. Sometimes they stay overnight. The janitors were there all night. We were stockers. We usually had a crew of a minimum of 1. Occasionally there'd only be 1, but usually there were 3, 4, 5 of us. A bigger, busier store would have even more. So yeah, there were people coming and going. No, I love 24. That's my first recommendation to all of you as a 24-hour grocery store. Now, we'd get cops in the store all the night. Of course, they're out patrolling. He wants to stop and get a Coke, or he knows when the donuts come out. I'm not, that sounds kind of mean, but if you're out on patrol and you know when the fresh donuts come out, wouldn't you stop and buy one? I would. That's coffee. They got coffee out there in the delis, and so they stop in and get a sandwich, and it's just part of their routine. We had cops in all the time. At all the grocery store, 24-hour grocery stores I worked, you just got used to seeing them. And they don't know. They know there's a bunch of us working in there. They go to the bakery and get a donut, and they see us working, and we got a clerk up manning the register, and there's a dozen people in there. He doesn't know who's parked there. So if you're one of them, he doesn't know or care. 24-hour grocery stores, and I know that I can tell you this, when the boss came in the next day, he didn't know what any of us were driving. He might have gotten, some of the more observant ones might have noticed these people are always here, they must be employees. But he didn't associate them with a name, first because they didn't care enough about us to associate us with a name. But because he just couldn't. I mean, he's got 100, 150 people in that store, employees in that store. He doesn't know them all, their name and what they drive. No one will know and care. I think 24-hour grocery stores are the best. With an IHOP, it's a smaller operation. They might know who's there. The boss comes in, he might care. Don't do it all the time. If you only do it once a week, I think you could do it fine at an IHOP. If the IHOP is next to another 24-hour business, it's perfect. If there's like I said, I've done this a lot, especially with Dennys. Dennys behind a motel, beside a motel, or Dennys beside a 24-hour grocery store. Then you never know which one's which. And the employees and management of one don't know who's with the other. Yeah, you can, I love 24-hour grocery stores. I would assume most 24-hour restaurants will work as well. Julie McDowell, how do I find stealth parking regulations for a particular city? Excellent, excellent question. The first thing you do is you go to the Walmart and you ask them, can I stealth park here? And if they say yes, then you know it's pretty lax. I don't particularly recommend that you park at Walmarts because if there is going to be enforcement in a city, it will be at Walmart. It may not be anywhere else in that whole town, but it will be at Walmart. But if it's not at Walmart, it's nowhere other than an individual manager or storekeeper, and that's unlikely. As long as you're being reasonable and don't create a problem, they're not going to care. You get there at the last second, you sleep, you leave immediately. You don't camp there and go work somewhere else. You don't set out your levelers and set out your slides. You'd be reasonable human beings. No one's going to care. So, but if they do enforce at Walmart, that tells you have to be at least aware of it. If they do not, they don't enforce anywhere in the city. They'll enforce there if they enforce anywhere. And if they don't, you still don't know. You'll have to be noticeable. You'll have to be noticing. Do people park there anyway? And that happens a lot. They come around and enforce, and Walmart will tell you cannot, but people still park there and get away with it. Then you're pretty safe anywhere in town. And if you've got a problem and they do enforce real strictly at Walmart, and it seems like they're enforcing everywhere else, I have another really bizarre idea for you. Go to the local police station and ask them. And I know how strange that sounds, and we all think the police are the enemy. Thank you very much. And they're not. The police are not the enemy. If you go in and tell them, I'm working, I've got a job, this is where I work, I'll show you my driver's license, I need someplace, I can't afford rent. I'm working 40 hours a week and I can't afford rent. Can I park on the street somewhere? Now, before you walk into the police station, you've parked the van a long ways away. You've walked 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. No, you watch, no one's going to follow you. They're not going to follow you. The cops are busy. They're too busy to follow you around. But you don't want to, if you walk in the door, you show them your ID and ask them a reasonable question and reasonably explain yourself. I think there's a really good chance that the cop will hand you his card and say, if you have a problem, have them call me. I think there's at least a 50-50 chance of that, unless the city is really tough. And if the city council and the mayor and all of them are really tough, then it's out of his control. There's nothing he can do. But he'll tell you that. You'll find out. You'll know when you walk out of there, no, I'm sorry, the rules here are very clear. You cannot park. If you park here, you'll be in trouble. Now you know. At the very least, you know what's going on. With a little luck, you could, and I've seen this actually happen, you can walk out with a cop's card in your hand and another cop knocks on your door. You can hand him the card and say, officer, I've talked to this officer and he would like you to call him. And a word will get out. They don't like wasting their time, and the word will get out. And you know what? Those cops will be watching out for you, not to get you, but to take care of you. I think that's an idea that is missed out on way too much. We just ought to, and I'm not denying it. You can't watch the news without cops shooting people for no reason whatsoever. And it creates this fear of cops, and it does in me too. I'm not going to deny it. I used to deny it. There were a few bad ones, but boy, now they seem to be everywhere. I still would give them the benefit of the doubt, and this would still be my advice to you. You get into a town, you want to know if it's safe. Walk up to a police station, show them your ID, explain your situation. I'm not a bad guy. I want to get along. I don't want to break the law. I can't afford an apartment. Is there anything you can do? I've heard of them letting you park in front of the police station. The word gets out to all the cops. There's a guy over there in a van. He's all right. Why not? You almost have nothing to lose as long as he doesn't see your van. No one follows you out. He's not going to arrest you. You're not doing anything wrong. You walked into a police station, asked a question. You showed him your ID. You're a good guy. You're proving you're a good guy. Now the cop knows you're a good guy. Okay, that's what I recommend. And if they don't enforce it at Walmart, they don't enforce anywhere. If they do enforce Walmart, look carefully. Don't go to Walmart's. There's lots of other places to go. Best place to stealth camp in Albuquerque? I don't know. Yolanda asked that. Best place to stealth camp in Albuquerque? I don't know Albuquerque in particular, but they're all the same. Outside, so I've given you a bunch. Some people try hospitals, although hospitals usually have security and that could be a problem. If you have a story, if you actually have someone in there, then it's easy. They're not going to chase you away. If you have someone in there, and you can say, my mom, like I've been going to the hospital every day. My mom fell and broke her hip, so I've been going to the hospital every day. And so I can say my mom, Jeannie Wells, is up in 5B, and so I'm going in to see her. No one's going to say anything about that. And I say I drove down from some nearby town, and I don't have anywhere to stay, and so I'm just going to stay here. And they're okay with that. But so hospitals are a possibility. Churches I don't generally recommend. 24-hour grocery stores are my top recommendation. I've worked in one of my life. I've watched it. I know it's safe. just know the businesses, watch the businesses, watch and learn and observe. That's really the key. Outside, a good one is outside garages. If it's a garage that has, you know, when I say car garage, auto repair shops, that's what I mean. And so, you know, they usually build up business. Now, if they have an enclosed fenced yard, that makes it a little harder, but sometimes they just kind of sprawl around. And if you could fit in on the sprawl, the boss comes in the next day. Anymore, a lot of auto shops will let you drop off your keys. So when he gets there and doesn't know the vehicle, he doesn't care. And you're leaving early, right? You're only going to be there the exact time you're asleep. You're going to get there really late, and you're going to leave early, and he's never even going to see you. So that's the rules you follow. You follow that everywhere you go. And you never stay in one place more than once. You have 7 places you rotate. You follow those rules, you can really kind of get away with it. Another one is they will enforce at Walmart, but if there's a Sam's Club, and I'm sure Albuquerque has a Sam's Club, go to the Sam's Club. And I mean, and a lot of times, the Sam's Club is literally across the street from a Walmart, and you can park at the Sam's Club, no problem at all, and they will chase you right out of the Walmart. It's a weird thing. But a lot of it is just common sense and safety. As I've said, if you don't have a commercial-looking vehicle, out in front of big apartment complexes is really the best. The bigger the apartment complex, the more sprawling the parking, the more confusing the parking, the better off you are. Yeah, you can find a place in Albuquerque, I'm sure. I don't know much about Albuquerque in particular. If you get caught parking overnight in a place that does not say no overnight parking, will get cited or just asked to move. I'm not aware. Almost no one is ever cited. It would be ridiculous to say no one has ever been cited. And in towns where you know it's a big issue, you could potentially be cited, but almost always they're just going to ask you to move on. It's just not worth. It's not worth the hassle to them. The cops or the people that own the store, they can't cite you. They don't have the power, I don't believe. All they can do is call the cops and tell you to and have you removed under trespassing. And a cop could cite you with trespassing, but it's highly unlikely. I just think it's really, really, really unlikely. I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, Andy. I'll give you 2 and take 4. No, I'm on 3. Andy, I'm thinking of towing a mini mate camper behind my Prius. Can this still be stealth? No, I'm sorry, it can't be. You're towing a camper. Then you go for the just passing through look. And if you stay near the freeways, the major roads through in and out of town, you go through the just passing through look, and that's fine. But that's not fine if you're going to live there permanently. If you're going to live there for year after year, and you're in something that looks like I'm just passing through, well, cops are smart. You're not, and this is a big thing, I'm surprised no one's asked, you're not really getting away with fooling people. The cops are pretty smart. You're rarely getting away with them. You're just not worth the hassle. They're not under strict orders to enforce. But if you're there over and over in a camper, you make it too obvious and you almost force him to take some kind of action. So no, I'm sorry. Although I know people who, the great example is, what was his name? Tioga George, the original blogger, RV blogger who started all of this long before me, was a guy named The Adventures of, oh no, I'm more in the sun. The Adventures of Tioga George, and he was the one that taught me about a day camp and a night camp. And he lived in an RV and stealthed everywhere. So it can be done, and maybe I'm being pessimistic. I think that's a possibility. But yes, if you're in an RV looking like with a camper, boy, it's tough. It's really tough. If the town doesn't care, then you're going to be fine. If the town cares and they're really wanting to get rid of us, yeah, they're going to care. They're going to cause a real problem for you, and I don't have any solutions. Okay, is that it? Stealth means leave no trash, make no noise. Do some places not allow overnight parking because of this. Oh yeah, yeah. There are a lot of places where they've had problems with overnighters, and because of that, they've eliminated. They've made it an overnight parking. That's the most common reason why places are an overnight. It's not the most common. Usually, it's the RV parks. The most common reason is the RV parks. They want the money. That's all it is to it. They don't want you going somewhere for free. They want you to be forced to pay them. So the RV parks throw a fuss. Local citizens throw a fuss. Businesses, and that's why. That's mostly why. Sometimes it's because, like Walmart, whoever owns the Walmart, they lease. A lot of times Walmart leases. They don't own the lot. I think probably most of the times. I don't know. At any rate, if the leaseholder for the RV for the Walmart lot says no for insurance reasons, for whatever reasons, for he's just a mean guy, then that's why. No, yeah. So sometimes it is because people abuse. Surprisingly, probably a lot of times it's because people abuse, but that's not the only reason. In fact, yeah. So yeah, make sure you're not camping. You're never camping. In fact, the name of the video would be stealth parking. You're never camping. You're never camping in a city ever. You're parking, and you're just parking as. In fact, never get out of the rig would be ideal. Get there at the last second. Jump out of the front seat into the bed, sleep. Jump out of the bed into the front seat. Turn the key. Drive away. Never even step lot. Never put out things. Never leave a mess in the trash. You're just ruining it for everyone. Yeah, that's really, really important. Deb Young, stealth means, well, I just answered that one. Zen woman. Nice. I like that. Zen woman. Is it possible to stealth park in New York? Yeah, actually, there are a lot of people that do it. I'm not the one to ask about that, but if you do the Google search on stealth parking in New York, you'd find a lot. Yeah, I think there are people that do it and pretty successfully. Mark Bajak, how about parking at an auto repair shop and leaving before they open in the morning? Yes, great idea. Some of them are they're big enough and they have a fence and they lock the gate, but you can still be on the outside. A lot of auto repair shops now have a gate, have a box, a one-way box. You can drop your key in. You've got and in an envelope explaining what the problem is and ask them to check it out. Or if you've checked with them before and they want it there really, really early and you can't get there really early, you drop it off the night before and drop off the key. That's pretty common. And so the vehicle will be outside. The owner will never have seen it. The mechanics will never have seen it before. They won't think much of it. Yes, auto repair shops work well for the most part. There are exceptions. I tell you where they're ideal. An auto repair shop that's in a shopping mall and you're kind of parked a little bit in between the car shop and the mall, and then you're not sure, no one's exactly sure where you belong. So that's a good one too. Casey once applied a white window privacy screen to her windows. How is that holding up? Casey answered and says, works awesome, holds up great, easy to clean. Yeah, we did find they were not clear. They were, you could see right through them at night, and if you have a light on. So you cannot think of that as the way that you're keeping the light in. So you would still have to put up at night to keep light in and not be obvious. You still have to put up something. And Casey, if I'm wrong, will you correct me? You still have to put something up. Yeah. That stuff. Yeah, you'll still have to block the light from getting through, block the window. Boyd Lee asks, how about parking at a hospital? Yes and no. Sometimes there is no parking, and so there's security, and it's a big problem. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. I don't think I could even attempt to generalize about it. I would just say, maybe. No, that's not helpful. Another one?
Casey says...
oh, it's almost time.
She says we have a lot of viewers, and if you want to go overtime, you can.
Okay. Okay, it seems like there's a lot of people watching, and there's a real interest in this. So I might go over. I don't mind going. You know, wind me up, get me talking, I'll never stop. You know that. Don't encourage me. And if you're encouraging me, you're on your own. You're bringing it on yourself. But yeah, I'm glad to answer questions. I love answering questions. And I know you can't. Who are you going to go ask these questions of? And so I would like to be someone that you can. And I've done all this stuff. I've been chased out of, I've gotten the knock on the door many times. And so, how about parking at a hospital? Yes and no. And it's really impossible for me to give you a good, clean answer for a hospital. The problem is more and more security. There's no room. They're out and about, and they'll question you and they'll make you leave. Again, it's the worst going to happen. They're going to make you leave. You go for somewhere else. That was number 3. Number 4, John Yang. Can you park a teardrop trailer in the city and leave it for the day? I wouldn't. And I know, I don't think I would. You can put up all the security around on the, I don't think I would. So you can put a cable lock through the tire and then go through the tongue. They have to cut the cable. You can put the little ball that goes up in the ball, the lock that goes up in the ball, and then you have to break that. So there's 2. You can put a thing that goes through the tire and becomes a boot. So you could put up 3 locks. Then the guy has to get through 3 locks, and a pro can get through all those locks without any problem, but they take time when they draw attention. So the odds are that a pro wouldn't ever bother stealing it. I think it's more likely that the owner would come out and impound it, and him put a boot on it that you can't remove, and make you pay a fine, or worse, have him call a tow company. The tow company hauls it off. You've got to pay hundreds. That would be probably the worst thing that happened. If you put all those safety measures, a pro can get through all of them, no problem, but they're in the middle of a parking lot. It's going to draw a lot of attention. Really, those cable locks, the only way to cut them is with a grinder, and you're cutting through a cable and a grinder in a parking lot is pretty obvious. I think the risk would not, and worst comes to worst, you could take the tire off. And if the owner came around and said, what are you doing? I said, oh, I'm sorry, I got a flat. I can't drive it. I'm going to take the tire off, take it to so you could do that. Worst comes to worst. No one's stealing it without the tire. And you've got a plausible excuse. You could even go into the store and say, hey, man, I got a flat. I'm going to pull the tire and take off. Where you might could do that. You might could get away with that. Another place you might get away with it is an auto parts store. People repair auto parts, their autos outside auto parts stores all the time. And they don't think anything of it. They want that. You're in there buying their parts. You're in there borrowing their tools or renting their tools, so they're okay with that. So maybe you could drop it at an auto parts store. Go in and take the tire off. Say, man, I've got a flat. I'm going to go get this tire fixed and be gone all day. I don't know. I've never done any of these things. I'm not one that thinks if you're going after stealth, go stealth and don't have an RV and don't tow a trailer. I think a much better idea is if that is in your long-term plans, it's not just a one-time thing, is a step van or a box van, because you get the huge amount of space that you're looking for. You can build it out like an RV if you want it to be like an RV, and yet you can park that thing in the light industrial areas of any town, and no one will think a thing. You're the safest you're going to be, because you just look like a guy who's parked overnight to go and deliver the next morning or pick something up the next morning. That's so. You can probably get away with an RV in a town, or a trailer in a town. So you can try it. TJ Abston asks, is there a way to check if a city does not allow stealth parking? Yeah, I've already answered this question. I'll go through it really briefly. Go to the Walmart first. If they don't enforce at Walmart, you're safe anywhere in town. There's always selective enforcement at Walmart. If they enforce at Walmart, they may or may not enforce anywhere else. If they don't enforce at Walmart, they're not going to enforce anywhere. So it's a lax town. Next, go to the police. Go walk right into the police station and ask them. And I've covered all that. Watch this video again. I'm not going to cover it again. So that is what I have to say about that. Camp Goer asks, is there a place to park an RV in California without being harassed? Well, more and more of the cities in California are assigning an area because it's such an issue. It's become such a huge problem. In fact, the state legislature is moving ever closer to passing a state law that makes it overrides the city's ability to make it illegal. In fact, because the state's been sued a lot of times about by the ACLU about, and they're the ones who brings all these suits, that it's discrimination against the homeless. And so I'm thinking that eventually the ACLU will accomplish its long-term goal, which is to make it legal everywhere, because it's you're basically taking away people's right to live, right to you have the right to live in this country, and if you don't have a home and you can't live anywhere, they're taking away your right to live. So yeah, in a lot of cities they have designated areas, and they will be okay with RVs. Not usually good areas, but there is an area. I see Cody back there. Is there a place to park an RV in California with being harassed? So, well, there's always dispersed camping. You can always go into the forests or the BLM land and disperse camp. That's always available. And in towns, you're just going to look. And I've explained several times. You go to the Walmart, see if it's allowed there. If it's not allowed there, you have to be more careful. Go to the police station and ask them. All right, I think I might be done. I think I've answered them all. Oh, I missed one. Is there a way to check if a city does not allow stealth parking? Yeah, we talked about that. What if you live in a single parking spot for 24 hours and move on? 24 hours is a long time. You'll draw attention to yourself. I wouldn't stay 24 hours anywhere. I would just stay. Again, I'll go over this again. It was earlier. Have a day camp, have a night camp, and go to your day camp during the day, and then at night you go to your night camp and move them both around. Don't always go to the same day camp, although you might could get away with that. More likely, it's day camp. You're not sleeping there. That's what's usually illegal, to sleep in a place, camp in a place. But being there during the day is almost never illegal. And so then you go at night and you have 7 of those, you move around and so on. 24 hours in one spot's a bad idea. Okay. And I think that's all the questions I have. So I'm going to, I have 12 commandments. I have a blog post on my website. A lot of you don't even know I have a website. I started with a website in 2005. It became real popular. And then when I moved, it was a pretty big website. And then when I moved to YouTube, I stopped writing for it. I just couldn't do both, so I stopped writing for it. But there is an enormous, everything I know is on my website. And if you do Google searches on it, you can find it. So if you do this Google search, if you do a Google search on cheaprvliving.com, 12 commandments of stealth parking. I have them all listed in a blog post. I'll do this as a I've never done it as a video. I need to do it. And I'm going to read you my 12 commandments, and we've covered nearly all of them, I hope. But in case I haven't covered all of them, I have another blog post where I list out all the places you should think about going to camp. Okay, 1, learn the local attitude toward vandaling. I've had this question come up several times. It's very important. You need to know. 2, go to a police station, ask for permission. I covered that at length. I'm not going to cover it again. If you're just joining us, go back, re-watch the video. I cover that at great length. 3, keep your vehicle neat and clean. The number one thing about stealth is do not draw attention to yourself. Don't have anyone look twice. Bunch of bumper stickers, you're dirty, you're beat up, you're a mess. You personally are a mess. You draw attention. People look, people notice. They think, who's he and what's he doing here? And they notice you over and over again. They call the police, say, hey, there's a guy out here I'm worried about. The cops will probably mostly ignore you, but if they get a complaint, they're coming out and knocking on the door, period. They get a complaint, they're coming out and knocking on the door. Stealth is about your neighbors, not about the cops. You rarely fool the cops. The cops usually don't care. It's the neighbor. And so keeping your van neat and clean and never drawing attention to yourself in any way is a way to keep the neighbors from calling. And by neighbor, I mean residential or business, the manager in the store, the employees of the store, a customer in the store, so on. Keep your vehicle neat and clean. That's number 3. Number 4, try not to have anything outside of a vehicle to make you stand out. I put that wrong. Never have anything outside the vehicle to make you stand out. Never have anything outside. You're not camping, you're parking. And people don't put things outside when they're parking. Keep yourself clean and neat. You're going to be noticed. You'll be, say you do go to the Walmart. You park at Walmart, the next morning you go in and you buy coffee. Well, that's why Walmart loves us, RVers. And if it's legal there and you're safe parking there, go in the morning, but don't go in looking like a bum. If you go in look like a bum and the manager, you just happen to catch the manager's attention, you're both coming in at the store at the same time in the morning, he's coming to work, or the assistant manager, or the third, fourth, fifth, the manager, and he sees you walking in and he knows you've been there before, seen you before, and you're a dirty and a mess, and you've drawn attention to yourself, negative attention, don't do that. Your van is neat and clean, you're neat and tidy. Your hair can be long and you could be a hippie. I've done that. I can vouch for that. But if you're neat and clean and tidy and you're friendly and you see them, you say, hi, how you doing? And you go in and you're polite to people, then the guy's got a positive impression. He knows it's you because things just happen to work out, and don't be surprised that it will work out, but he's got a positive impression. You want to be a person who gives a positive impression of you and your vehicle. You're polite, you're friendly, you're helpful, you go in and buy things. You don't go in and take a shower in the bathroom. The guy happens to come back later and you're there and taking a shower. Boy, you're hurting us all, buddy. You're hurting us all. Don't do that. So keep yourself neat and clean. Keep your heart neat and clean. Now that's an interesting one. This has been so long I've read this. I wonder exactly what that means. I think it means keep me polite and friendly. And I just think that's so important. You know, if you have a smile and you're okay. If you walk around talking to yourself and growling and you just give the impression to people that you're a mess, your heart should be neat and clean. Actually, that's a good way to put that. Have a smile, have a grin, have a say thank you in your mind, in your heart, in your voice, in your mouth. Thank you. Just say thank you. Hi, how you doing? Nice to see you today. Keep your heart and yourself neat and clean. That's good, really good advice. I'm kind of a smart guy. I haven't read this in a long time. 7, the longer you sit in one place, the more noticeable you will be. 12 hours. I mean, have a day camp, have a night camp. You only sleep at the night camp, nothing else. You don't read, you don't listen to TV, you don't watch TV. That's a day camp. Day camp for that stuff. Night camp is to sleep. This is good advice. Arrive at your sleeping spot as late as possible. Drive away as soon as you awake. Don't brush your teeth. Don't change your clothes. Get in the front seat. That's why you want really a great thing to have a van. You don't even have to get out. Draw attention to yourself. You just get in the van. You fire it up. You drive away. Stop at a convenience store. Change your clothes. Go in if you need to go in and brush your teeth or comb your hair or get a cup of coffee. Stop at a convenience store. There's always one around in the town, and then do your things there. 9, have at least 7 camps to rotate between. Rotate often. Never be placed more than twice. If you have 14, all the better. 14 is better than 7. Never be at one place more than every 2 weeks. No one's going to notice or care. Follow all this advice and you're going to be okay. 10, be prepared to poop in your van. Like if you have a night camp and now what happens in the city, and I hear this a lot, and I kind of did this myself, there's always a public restroom. So you get in the habit of pooping in public restaurants, or not in restaurants, anywhere, any public bathroom, anywhere, convenience stores. You stop at a convenience store, you go in, you buy a paper and you go to the bathroom. And if you don't have a gym membership, I'd be amazed. So you have a gym membership. You stop, you go in the morning, you go and take your shower, you go to poop, you wash, you shave. That's where you do all that stuff. And no one notices, gives a thought to you going there every day. They just think you're healthy. You have a work ethic, which hopefully you do. And so you almost never will poop in your van, but be prepared so that in the middle of the night, you've got diarrhea, you got to go right now. You don't have to jump up, run out, and run into the Walmart. Draw attention. People notice. What's he doing in here? Why is he acting like that? Be prepared to poop and pee in your van if you need to. I think that's good advice. 11, moisture on your windows is a dead giveaway. Installing a vapor barrier will help prevent this. Really, really important. So put up a plastic sheet in a van. I don't even know a way to do this in the car. I don't think it's possible. But your windows will be shielded. There'll be Reflectix or cardboard painted black, or there'll be something around your windows, insulation on your windows. There'll be something so that hopefully you're not getting, that needs to be pushed up hard up against the window so the moisture can't get behind there and condense, or at least the heat can't get behind there and then melt the condensation. And so it should be just your, excuse me, deep breath, calm down. How you guys doing today? So if you're in a van, I suggest putting up a vapor barrier of some kind, have a slit, and then have preferably a Velcro so that you can Velcro the slit tight together. And so very little moisture goes up front. That's about the only thing you can do to prevent frost on your front windshield if it's cold. Well, the best thing is not to be where it's that cold. Go be a snowbird and go where it's warm. I lived for 6 years in Anchorage, Alaska, and there was ice on my windshield every morning, and this is the best I could come. I had a box van. I lived in a box van, and it had a door that slid across. I had a pass-through and a door that slid across, and so I hung a vapor barrier under it, and that almost always worked. I rarely had frost on my front windshield, but sometimes it did. Sometimes you just couldn't keep it from happening. But you try to avoid it. Look for a way to avoid it. 12, should you camouflage your van? And this is a question I hear all the time. Ladders, yes. But you look out of place in a residential area. So if you have a box van, if you have a step van, yeah, the more you look like a business, the better off, because then you look normal in the light industrial areas, but then you look really out of place in a residential area, don't you? But a lot of people own businesses and operate their businesses and drive their vans home, their cargo vans home. So their cargo van is parked outside their home. So that does happen. It's not a dead giveaway. But yeah, I think camouflaging your van with ladders, ladder racks, orange vests, put a hat, a hard hat, leave a hard hat and an orange vest on the seats. We'll put a hard hat and a clipboard up on the dash. Those things help. Signs are another matter. Signs are a tough one. Signs are a tough question because then you're commercial and you've claimed yourself as commercial, and a cop might be watching you and thinking, he's running a commercial van, but he doesn't have a commercial insurance or a commercial license plate, or if you're driving on the freeway and you have a business on your van and you don't stop at the way stations on, the rest where all the trucks are required to stop. Well, cargo vans are required to stop also in a lot of states. And so if you've got a sign up that says you're a business and you don't stop, cops could chase you down and make you stop. And so that's a pretty big issue. And there's another issue. The cop runs your plate. Oh, that's what it is. The cop runs your plate and you don't have a commercial van, a commercial plate, but you have a sign up that says you're a commercial van. Then he might wonder, why aren't you paying commercial? And stop you and ask you why. So there's the sign is more problematic, much more problematic. And you got to be careful it doesn't make you a target. And so that's it. Okay, I'm done. I've had enough. You've probably had enough. That's a long, long time. I hope so. It's in great shape. No signs. Yeah, someone else agrees. No signs. Signs are problematic. I'd give a lot of thought to the ins and outs and pros and cons of a sign before I hung a sign. There are some real issues with hanging a sign when it's not your business, when you're not a commercial vehicle, and maybe you don't want to be recognized as a commercial vehicle. Okay. Okay, so I am going to quit. Thank you all so much. Let's turn on the bubbles. Everyone loves bubbles. Bubbles. I guess I can dance. I haven't danced yet today. Let's see, let's go out here. I don't know how to dance, so I'm not a very good modern dancer. So I'll just bebop. I guess that's what I'm doing, just bebopping. I'm dancing with my camera. That's the only one who loves me is my camera. Okay, that's enough. Enough bubbles, enough dancing. Where'd it go? There it is. Bubble stopped. Okay, folks. Thanks so much for watching the video. Let everyone know about it. Hit thumbs up on the below. Hit thumbs up, please, and tell your friends if you're interested in this. Living in a van, finding hope. I'm in the hope providing business. Get the word out on your social media. And I'm going to quit and talk to you later. See y'all later. Bye. Okay. I'm trying to quit. There we go.